Hello everyone, today I'm at the Canadian Museum of Nature in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm going to take you on a tour. Let's go check it out. The horned dinosaurs, or ceratopsians, were among the most numerous herbivores in western North America during the late Cretaceous period. Their horns and elaborate head frills protected their vulnerable necks from predators. With its robust body and long dagger-like teeth, Daspletosaurus must have been a powerful hunter. Its successor, the Tyrannosaurus, was the last of the big carnivores. Like today's cougars and wolves, dinosaur predators were far less numerous than their prey.
So you think of making them in what contest?
This Chasmosaurus skeleton is particularly significant because it is a holotype, the unique specimen upon which the description and name of a new species is based. Not all fossils are bones. Skin impressions, footprints, and scat or droppings are other types of evidence left behind by the dinosaurs. All three give paleontologists enormous amounts of information about dinosaurs and their lifestyle. Everyone knows Triceratops. Triceratops is one of the largest and most abundant horned dinosaurs in the fossil record. The animal's huge head and solid frill fossilized well. The Carnotaurus had small horns above each eye. Its small eyes were forward-looking, giving it stereoscopic vision, an important evolutionary development and a distinct advantage when hunting prey. Built like an ostrich. The Dromaeosaurus is a member of the bird mimics, dinosaurs that resemble large, flightless birds like emus and ostriches. Its very long shin bones are evidence that was a sprinter, possibly one of the fastest dinosaurs on two legs. In Montana in the 1980s, paleontologists found the nest sites of Mesmerizing, a duck-billed dinosaur whose name means good mother lizard. The presence of nesting material and young nearby strongly indicates that Mesmerizing took care of its young. Biomechanical studies of Edmontosaurus skeletons suggest that the animal could sprint briefly at speeds of 50 kilometers per hour, that it could lope for long distances at about half that speed. Killers of the ancient seas, the dominant reptiles of Lake Cretaceous seas, mosasaurs, evolved from monitor-like lizards. The Komodo dragon of Indonesia and a modern monitor lizard is distantly related to the mosasaurs. Terminaurus robusta, a long-snouted marine crocodilian, lived in the warm temperature waters along the eastern margins of the Western Ontario Seaway. Its total length was about 6 meters. The flightless marine bird Hesperornis propelled itself through the water with its large feet. A mouth full of sharp backward directed teeth allowed this diving bird to catch slippery fish. We're entering the mammal gallery. This enormous bison boldly stands its ground against the hungry wolves. Healthy adult bison are intimidating to wolves, who prefer to attack young, sick, or older animals. A bison can move surprisingly fast and may charge a wolf that is approaching a vulnerable member of the herd. Because of this, wolves often target individuals that have been separated from the group. These wolves shouldn't get too close to the bison. It could fight back. Using its horns, hooves, and tremendous strength, a bison is capable of badly injuring or even killing a wolf with one swift kick to the head. Ouch. A large moose walks through deep snow looking for something to eat. The name moose comes from an Algonquin word that means twig eater. Amazingly, these huge animals manage to survive the cold months on a meager diet of twigs and conifer needles. A group of muskox stand their ground against a hunter's husky. Muskox may look very much like wild cattle such as bison, but they are more closely related to mountain goats and bighorn sheep. A herd of caribou migrates to its winter range in northern Saskatchewan. Notice the wide hooves of the caribou. Their toes spread out to act like snowshoes, distributing their weight so they don't sink in deep snow or soft, boggy terrain. Pikas are extremely defensive landowners, and most of their vocal calls are declarations of territory. Though many pikas may inhabit a talus slope, each individual actively guards its specific patch of land. Gray squirrels most often use a series of rapid clicking sounds, warning neighbors of danger. Sometimes several squirrels will join together to scold an intruder. When an Arctic ground squirrel spots an aerial predator, it emits a loud, shrill whistle, warning others in the colony to find cover in the closest burrow. Prairies are wide open spaces that offer little shelter from weather and predators. A Richardson's ground squirrel uses its burrow to hide from aerial hunters, such as the Swasson's hawk, as well as to escape the hot sun. A small herd of pronghorn scan the horizon for any sign of danger. It's hard to hide in such a wide, open landscape, but that's not a problem for pronghorns. They can not only see great distances, but they also run extremely fast. Predators rarely stand a chance. These adult male thin-horned sheep climb Sheep Mountain. Small-horned males usually recognize the superiority of those with larger horns, choose not to challenge them, but rams of similar size will butt heads to decide who dominates. The champion wins the right to mate. A family of beavers is getting ready for winter. Beavers need to keep their front teeth sharp because they use them to cut down trees for shelter and food. The front of their incisors is covered with hard enamel, while the back is softer and wears down more quickly, leaving a chisel-sharp edge. Two adolescent bears roam for food while a pika hides from view. Pikas collect little bouquets of plants that they carry lengthwise so their front teeth anchor the stems and prevent them from falling from their mouth. Throughout the summer, grizzlies eat rodents, though it can take hours to dig them out of the ground. In the fall, they like to eat food such as berries, nuts, and vegetation. Two Arctic hares rest. In winter, Arctic hares remain curled up in a ball and motionless for hours, conserving precious energy. When resting, Arctic hares usually sit near rocks or snowdrifts that shelter them from the wind. Look closely at an Arctic hare's hind feet. They're completely covered with a heavy coat of warm fur. In strong winds, Arctic hares know the trick to staying warm is to keep the wind at their back when resting or feeding. The blue planet. Life around a deep sea hydrothermal vent. Vents form when hot mineralized water from the depths of the earth shoot up through cracks in the seafloor. Mineral deposits accumulate, forming chimneys-like structures. Specialized organisms colonize the chimney, living off the hydrogen sulfide-rich brew or off the microbes that grow there. An old lobster. It's tough to determine exactly how old a lobster is because the animal sheds its exoskeleton as it grows. It leaves few growth traces, such as the growth rings seen on fish scales, for example. Especially as it gets older, a large lobster like this specimen might be 50 years old. Invertebrates. These animals are among the most developed invertebrates. They have more specialized layers such as digestive and nervous systems. They may not look like our relatives, but the Salp and Lancet groups show the evolutionary origins of a central nervous cord. Fish are divided into three main categories. Jawless fish, such as hagfish, are the most ancient. They lack jaws and scales. Cartilaginous fish, such as sharks, that have hard scales and teeth, while their skeleton is made of flexible cartilage. Bony fish, such as tuna, have a hard skeleton and often a gas-filled chamber that controls buoyancy. Birds that have adapted to living most of their lives on the open ocean are known as seabirds. Shorebirds, on the other hand, find food and shelter along the coastline. Still, other birds migrate between summer and winter habitats, spending only part of the year in a marine environment. All these birds return periodically to land in order to nest. The spotted turtles in this aquarium are just like you and me. They need clean, clear, fresh water to live. Although Canada is rich in fresh water, our aquatic ecosystems are under threat. Introduced invasive species, pollution, loss of habitat, and development put sensitive creatures such as turtles at risk. Fresh water is a precious heritage that needs to be conserved. Aquatic life in a river. Take a look at some animals and plants that make their home in a river. There's a yellow perch, a smallmouth bass, a largemouth bass, a black crappie, a pumpkin seed, a blue grill, Canada's watersheds. Where does your water go? Press the location button to light up the watershed that the area belongs to and see where it flows. Alright, so I'm going to press Ottawa Gatineau, that's where I live. Dominated by the Great Lakes St. Lawrence River system, other significant systems such as those of the Churchill River in Labrador and the St. John River in New Brunswick are part of the Atlantic Ocean watershed. So a watershed is an area of land where all the surface water drains into the same place. Gravity causes water to flow downstream from higher areas into lower areas, where it eventually reaches sea level. Canada has 5 major watersheds: the Pacific Ocean watershed, the Arctic Ocean watershed, the Hudson Bay watershed, the Atlantic Ocean watershed, and the Gulf of Mexico watershed. Sea turtles, particularly younger ones, often mistake plastic bags for jellyfish, a favorite food. Canadian coastal waters are home to 4 species of sea turtles, with 2 populations of leatherback turtles, one in the Pacific Ocean and another in the Atlantic Ocean. Researchers estimate that 52% of the world's sea turtles have plastic in their digestive system. If this plastic gets stuck, the result can be fatal. A toxic plastic soup. When we imagine plastic pollution in the open ocean, we often think of large objects floating on the surface. In reality, the pollution is mostly very small pieces of plastic that float on or just beneath the surface, with denser pieces found deeper in the water column. Right, so now we're entering the Canada Goose Arctic Gallery on the top floor. The Arctic is a vast and diverse area of our planet. Over a millennia, the people, plants, and animals living there have adapted to this harsh and beautiful land. Today, rapid climate change is creating new challenges for this fragile environment. The effect ripple across the globe, connecting us all to the Arctic's future. This is a beached bowhead whale brain case. In the past, a single bowhead whale provided an enormous supply of essential resources: meat and skin for food, blubber for heat and light, and bones for their frames of sod houses. In the Arctic, the relationship between people, natural resources, and the environment are critical and sensitive. The rapidly warming climate will affect all life in the Arctic. Polar bears live on sea ice throughout the Arctic. For most of the year, they return to land if forced to by melting ice in summer or to deliver their cubs. As the climate warms, sea ice is melting earlier and forming later, reducing the amount of time that polar bears have access to their main food source, seals. These 3.5 million year old fossil bone fragments were collected on Ellesmere Island, Nunavut. They are from a limb of a high Arctic camel, which was about 30% bigger than modern day camels. This is a mammoth skull. During the last ice age, 12,000 to 110,000 years ago, much of the Arctic was covered by glaciers almost a kilometer thick. However, some mammals, birds, and plants thrived in ice-free areas. These species repopulated the Arctic after the climate became warmer and the ice melted. Their descendants now form much of the Norse biodiversity. Cold-loving species such as mammoths and bear-sized beavers could not adapt to the warmer climate and change in vegetation, so they became extinct. The circumpolar Arctic. So climate change is disrupting animal migration between the Arctic and the rest of the world. The gray whale, Sabin's gull, Arctic tern, northern wheatear, red knot, and the barren ground caribou. Many animals live in the Arctic year-round, finding enough food throughout the seasons. Others migrate great distances for food or safe areas to raise their young. Some even travel to other continents and back each year. These journeys add to the global connection with the Arctic, but it also means that what happens both outside and within the Arctic can have profound impacts on these animal populations. This is a red knot. And this is an Arctic tern. This is a snow goose. Arctic wetlands are important habitats where shallow freshwater lakes, ponds, and marshes cover the land for all or part of the year. Plants, invertebrate animals, fish, and migrating birds all depend on Arctic wetlands for surviving and reproduction. Most of these rich ecosystems are founded on permafrost, which creates an underground ice barrier that prevents surface water from draining away. In winter, musk oxen live in large mixed herds with equal numbers of bulls, which are males, and cows, which are females. In the summer breeding season, the herds comprise one dominant bull with several cows, calves, and teenaged bulls. This is a king elder. This is an Arctic char. This is an Arctic hare. This is another Arctic hare. Arctic hares feed on woody plants, moss, and lichen throughout the year. In summer, their diet also includes buds, leaves, flowers, and berries. Arctic hares are well camouflaged from predators. During summer in the southern Arctic, they are a blue-gray color that allows them to blend in with the surrounding rocks. In winter, they are snowy white. Hares residing in the high Arctic remain white during the short summer, relying on speed to avoid predators. This is a snowy owl. This is a willow ptarmigan. This is a simplified Arctic food web. It shows who eats what in the Arctic.
Ça, c'est pas une baleine, ça.
Oui, c'est une sorte de baleine ici.
Ah, mais ça, c'est pas une baleine, c'est plutôt.
This is a ringed seal. Ringed seals depend on sea ice. They haul out on the ice to rest between feedings, mate, and raise their young in snow-covered dens. Reduced sea ice coverage in spring caused by warming Arctic waters will affect ringed seals and the polar bears that hunt them. The community of organisms that live in, on, or near the seafloor is called the benthos. Some animals, such as sea amphibians, attach to the bottom. Others, such as crabs, are mobile. Rising temperatures, acidifying seawater, and invasive species will likely put the existing Arctic benthic communities at risk. The thick-billed murre. Thick-billed murres nest on steep coastal cliffs, making it challenging for both predators and egg collectors to take the protein-rich eggs. The bird's success also lies in their great fishing abilities. They use their wings to swim to the depths of the ocean, diving as deep as 300 meters to catch fish and invertebrates. This is a walrus skull. Walruses are found in tight groups that range from a few individuals to thousands. Walruses use their tusks as weapons and as a tool to climb onto ice. Walruses prefer hunting in shallow water. They use their whiskers to locate clams on the sea floor, from which they suck the meat out. A walrus can eat up to 4,000 clams in one day. The Northern Voices Gallery. In this rotating exhibition space, Northern communities share their perspectives about the Arctic and their relationship with the land, experience the Arctic from the people whose ancestors survived and thrived in this extreme climate, discover how Arctic culture, traditions, and knowledge are shared and taught from one generation to the next. Nunavut includes 14 villages along the coasts of northern Quebec. The region is 500,000 kilometers squared and counts for a third of Quebec's total area, consisting mainly of wild tundra and taiga. Nunavut is home to several lakes, rivers, and mountains, as well as 3 national parks. The expansive marine region includes numerous islands. More than 10,000 Inuit live in Nunavut, 60% of whom are younger than 30. Now we're in the Earth Gallery. This is an Esquil meteorite. Meteorites form from the same interstellar particles that came together to form the Earth. Meteorites are extraterrestrial chunks of rock and metal that regularly fall to Earth. They give us information about the origins of our solar system. They also give us clues about the age, composition, and internal structure of rocky planets, including Earth. Most meteorites that hit Earth come from asteroids orbiting our Sun between Mars and Jupiter. This piece of the Canyon Diablo meteorite was found in Arizona, USA in the 1800s. It is 90% iron and 7% nickel and also has small amounts of other elements. It originated from the core of a differentiated asteroid and collided with Earth 50,000 years ago. Millions of years ago, two asteroids collided in the asteroid belt and shattered. In 2008, a 10-ton fragment hurtled into Earth's atmosphere, where it split into thousands of pieces over Buzzard Coulee near Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. Throughout Earth's history, our planet has been struck by meteorites of all sizes. One of the largest and oldest impact sites ever identified is located in Canada. Some 1.85 billion years ago, a 10-kilometer wide meteorite plunged through the atmosphere and smashed into the area of what is now known as Sudbury, Ontario. Plate tectonics continually change the face of our planet. Continental and oceanic plates move in many ways towards each other, away from each other, under or over. They can also sink down and melt into the hot mantle. This is the way rock is constantly recycled. Where do earthquakes occur? Earthquakes occur both at mid-oceanic ridges and their transform faults and along subduction zones. They originate between 2 and 20 kilometers below the surface. Along subduction zones, however, earthquakes can originate as deep as 700 kilometers. Earth is made up of three types of rock: magmatic, metamorphic, and sedimentary. These rock types transform into one another in the rock cycle. This chunk of ore owes its shiny appearance to its high concentration of nickel and other metals. It weighs over 350 kilos. That's the same weight as a female moose. Sorry.
Vers le haut, c'est rapide, pour en bas, c'est lent.
From liquid magma to hard rock, heat from deep in the earth melts solid rock from the upper part of the mantle and the lower part of the crust, turning it into a liquid called magma. When magma cools, it crystallizes into magmatic rock, also known as igneous rock. Heat is not the only factor that causes solid rock to melt. Pressure and water can also change rock's melting point. So this is rocks that form above ground and rocks that form underground. The Lovers, Albid variety rubellite. Sedimentary rocks. Erosion moves mountains literally. It begins with the weathering of exposed rock. Water, ice, and wind physically and chemically break down rock into smaller particles called sediment. As rock breaks down, gravity moves the resulting particles downslope. The sediment is then transported, most often by moving water. It is deposited and buried in places like floodplains and deltas.
Like baking in an industrial cupcake oven. Industrial cupcake with the timer set for 40 million years. Think of the strength and every molecule transforms into a synthetic crystal. Your metamorphic version.
What is a mineral? Minerals are naturally occurring inorganic solids. They have well-defined chemical composition and an ordered atomic arrangement. The chemical makeup and atomic arrangement of each mineral species is unique, like a fingerprint. This is obsidian, sugar, zincite, amber. Minerals are made of elements. Elements are the building blocks of everything, including minerals. More than 100 elements have been identified, but only 90 exist in nature. This is gypsum, galena on dolomite, marcasite, calcite, sulfur with aragonite and tar, hematite, quartz with rutile inclusions. Where do minerals grow? Minerals grow in a great variety of environments. In some cases, as in a geode or pegmatite, crystals form in fractures and cavities where open space is available to allow their full development. Many of the beautiful specimens featured in this gallery developed in this way. is quartz, calcite, gypsum, pyrite. This is almandine and smithsonite. Gemstones are treasured for their beauty and rarity. For ornamental use, gemstones are cut and polished to bring out their full color and luster. Of the nearly 4,000 known minerals, about 100 are used as gems. For use in jewelry, they must be hard, tough, and resistant to sunlight and changes in temperature and humidity. The gemstones that are highlighted in the front row of this case represent the birthstones for each month of the year. These gems are among the 20 or so that are most commonly sold by jewelers. Most gemstones are recovered through small-scale mining operations or as byproducts of mining activities. What is a cave? A cave is a natural underground hollow, usually with an opening to the surface. The most common types of caves are formed by water. This is the bird gallery. Poppies. Amanda McIvore's Poppies is a cloud of hundreds of upside-down red, pink, and coral flowers. Although poppies are a symbol of sleep, healing, remembrance, and death, McIvore didn't want this work to be unsettling. Instead, she hopes that it will spark visual pleasure, curiosity about the environment, and a feeling of resilience. Spectre is an elegy to a polar bear that was held in captivity at the Banff Park Museum Zoo from 1922 to 1938. The title refers to both the ghost of Buddy the bear and to the idea of spectacle, something to be stared at. For Wright Cheney, taking a polar bear out of the wilderness and putting it in a zoo is the opposite of rewilding. Water birds. Look at their feet and body shape. Notice how these birds are adapted for swimming, diving, or walking in water. They frequent the oceans, inland waters, and wetlands. Their primary source of food is aquatic plants and animals. Puffin, a willet, a black oyster catcher, a marble godwit, a dunlin, waterfowl. With the particular shape of their bills, waterfowl can pick plants or catch small aquatic animals. The cackling goose, the American coot, the snow goose. This is the common eater, American widgeon, canvasback, New Brunswick. Black-capped chickadees often win bird watchers' hearts by eating right out of their hands. Chickadees are seen in small flocks. At feeders, they take turns instead of eating it as a group. The gyrfalcon is the most northern dwelling raptors. This striking bird has always been highly valued by falconers who train it to hunt small game. Its popularity thus made it a prime target for poaching. From Alberta, this is a great horned owl. Because of its large size, the great horned owl can prey on a variety of animals. When crows attempt to ward it off, they attack the owl without respite. Consequently, the owls are forced to keep well hidden during the day. The Steller's jay from British Columbia. This noisy jay owes its name to naturalist George Steller, who accompanied vitreous bearing in 1741 exploration of the North Pacific. Its behavior is much like that of the blue jay, but it lives in the forests that are west of the prairies. This is a common raven. The common raven is one of the most geographically widespread birds in the world that is associated with a number of myths and legends. Some people ascribe positive qualities such as wisdom to the common raven or believe that it created the earth. For others, it symbolizes danger and death. This is the sharp-tailed grouse. The sharp-tailed grouse was very important for the native people and settlers of Western Canada because it was an abundant source of food and was easy to hunt. During the breeding period, impressive groups of 20 to 40 males gather to strut and make booming sounds in order to attract females. This is the loon from Ontario. Mystery surrounds this bird with the melancholic call that is so dear to nature lovers. Since 1987, Canadian currency has owed its nickname Loonie to the common loon that graces the $1 coin. The rock ptarmigan is one of the few birds to winter on the Arctic tundra. Like all Galicaeous birds, it is hunted for its meat. Brown summer plumage provides excellent camouflage for the female while she is incubating motionlessly on her nest. Any movement may help lucky bird watchers get a glimpse of her. This is the snowy owl. The magnificent white snowy owl has become the worldwide symbol of Canadian Inuit handicraft. The little white fur toys with big round eyes are called oikvik, which means snowy owl in Inuktitut. Osprey. The osprey flies over the water to hunt fish, hovering above its prey. It then plunges feet first to seize a fish in its talons.
No, it's just batteries dead probably. So look, the Alberta owl. So it's
This is a blue jay.
the great horned owl. And here's, look at this. This is
A great gray owl.
Is it a crow or no, it's a raven?
And a Atlantic puffin. Over the years, the Victoria Memorial Museum building was home to many organizations. The original tenant of the building, the Geological Survey of Canada, moved to new quarters in 1959. The National Gallery departed for its facility downtown Ottawa, and the National Museum of Man, now the Canadian Museum of Civilization, moved into a sparkling new facility in 1988. Since the opening, there have been many stories about strange spirited happenings in the old building. There is speculation that one of the people responsible for the construction of the building died inside the museum, but this has never been proven. Sir Wilfrid Laurier's funeral. David Ewitt, architect of this building, was distraught when the original tower was removed, but he died of natural causes in hospital in 1921. Sir Wilfrid Laurier died in 1919 while Parliament was sitting in this building. His body lay in state in the auditorium, where 50,000 people came to pay their respects. What's new? Recent renovations have brought Canada's oldest national museum into the 21st century. Some of the important changes include the addition of the lantern, which evokes the building's original tower and provides additional circulation to the upper floors. Major upgrades to all building systems, seismic reinforcement, extensive heritage restoration, new exhibitions, and improved visitor amenities. So this is what the tower looked like in 1911. And this is the new tower as of 2010. On June 30th, 2010, to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the construction of the Victoria Memorial Museum building, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II officially designated the new glass structure above the entrance of the museum as the Queen's Lantern. The museum original stone tower was removed in 1916 because its excessive weight on the underlying Leda clay had caused it to lean away from the building. The new Queen's Lantern evokes the past and signals the renewal of the museum. The first two floors of the new building were devoted to exhibits. Birds, mammals, and minerals were among the first exhibits, but in 1913, a landmark fossil exhibition featured dinosaurs from the Alberta Badlands was mounted. It included the first complete dinosaur skeleton on display in Canada. Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy Canadian content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will leave a link in the description for the website of this museum and address and all the other information that you'll need. Alright, thank you. Until next time, bye bye.